Hey there. Tonight we're not striding through the polished halls of lords or clanking alongside armored knights. Instead, we're slipping into the dim, flickering shadows, tracing the weary steps of the servants who breathe life into the castle's cold stones. Unseen, unheard, yet utterly essential. Imagine the scullery maid, hunched over pots in the pre-dawn gloom, her hands raw from scrubbing. The spit boy, arms trembling as he turns the roast over a spitting fire. The laundress, her fingers stiff and icy from plunging into frigid water. The guard pacing alone through the stillness while the world dreams. This is their tale, not of shining glory or sweeping grandeur, but of endless labor, aching bodies, and the quiet, unshakable resilience that kept the castle's heart beating. 10 lives, 10 days, all beneath one towering roof, yet worlds apart. If this gentle, grounded history soothes your mind and eases you toward sleep, feel free to like the video and subscribe, but only if it truly calms your soul. Drop a comment too. Tell me where you're listening from and what hour it is. I love knowing how far these hushed stories wander. So take a deep breath. Let the fire's crackle fill your ears. Dim the lights, and let's step not into royal splendor, but into the lives of those who toiled beneath it. Good morning, or what passes for it. You stir awake, not because sleep has refreshed you, don't be absurd, but because the stone floor beneath you has drained every scrap of warmth from your bones, leaving you shivering on a threadbare sack. Oh, and the cook's heavy foot has landed on you twice. A rude alarm clock, if ever there was one. This is how your day dawns when you're the scullery maid, the lowest soul in the castle's sprawling pecking order. Welcome to a life of relentless grind, unpaid, unbathed, and unseen, unless a pot needs scouring or a scapegoat's required. Your bed is a burlap heap stuffed with ancient straw, nestled by the hearth for its faint, grudging heat. Less a comfort than a step above freezing. It reeks of charred grease, damp timber, and dreams long trampled. Your shift, your sole garment, is rough wool, gray and unyielding, serving as both nightgown and workday armor. It's been boiled perhaps once this year, maybe never, and it clings to you like a second scratchy skin. You rise before dawn cracks the sky, before the roosters crow, before even the Almighty seems to stir. Why? Because the castle's morning hinges on you. Fire, water, bread, the endless scrubbing, all fall to your calloused hands. Others might share the burden in theory, but they've mastered the art of vanishing when tasks are doled out. You haven't cracked that code yet, or perhaps you're just too honest to slink away. The hearth lies dead, its embers a cold, ashen mockery of warmth. A scullery without flame is a night without steel, pitiful and exposed. You stumble into the pitch-black courtyard, barefoot since your shoes crumbled last spring, now patched into a doorframe somewhere. The flagstones bite your soles, wet and sharp, as you gather kindling with hands too numb to register the splinters burrowing in. Back inside, you kneel by the hearth, coaxing life from soggy wood with muttered curses and stubborn hope. At last, the fire sputters awake, a frail glow that you hover your fingers over until they shed their corpse-like chill. Next comes water, because castles don't have pipes, they have you. You heft wooden buckets from the well, gallons sloshing against your yoke, weighing down your narrow shoulders. Trip after trip, your arms blaze with pain, your back howls, your knees wobble like overcooked mush. Breakfast? That's a distant dream. By the time the kitchen crew shuffles in, yawning, scratching, oblivious, you're on your fourth haul. No one nods thanks. No one meets your gaze. You're a stool with legs, nothing more. The cook storms in, a tempest of sweat and fury, her wooden spoon a scepter of punishment. She bellows about a crusty stew pot, and that's your signal to dive back into scrubbing. Your knuckles bleed into the ashes and sand. No soap for the likes of you. Just lie if you're lucky, burning like quiet vengeance. Your hands bear the scars of it, calluses warring with chemical burns, the right worse than the left. The scullery is a dungeon masquerading as a workplace. No air, no light, just a soot-choked window, and the stench of overcooked meat mingling with something fouler you'd rather not name. You hunch over basins all day, scraping grease from pewter trenchers, swatting rats with a ladle as they skitter past bold as lords. They own this place. You're just the tenant. Mid-morning creeps in. Your stomach gnaws itself, but there's only a stale bread heel stashed in your apron, dry as dust. You gnaw it in a shadowed corner, guilt shadowing your bites. A kitchen maid spies you, tattles, and now you're sentenced to latrine pot duty all week. Lucky you. Later you're bumped to onion duty, a promotion that means weeping for hours as you chop. Your face a river of silent misery. No one checks on you. They figure it's just your lot in life leaking out. Noon brings the noble's first feast. You ferry dishes with precise steps, eyes locked on the floor. Nobles don't like seeing your humanity. You clutch a pitcher for an hour, arms numb, never once asked to pour. After, it's back to cleaning. Gravy, slick trenchers, gnawed bones strewn under tables, half-eaten pies, and a mystery lump that might have been fish once. You scrape it into the slop bucket, sneaking a crust when no one's looking, just enough to keep your legs from buckling. Afternoon fades into evening, a blur of hauling water, peeling roots, mopping floors, sweeping halls. You're blamed for a dog's mess in the solar, a room you've never even glimpsed, because guilt sticks to you like damp wool. As the sun dips, dinner prep roars to life. The hearth blazes, smoke choking the air. A pot clatters, the cook shrieks, a spark flares. You smother it with your apron and press on. Supper's a shared bowl with 5 other girls, watery stew with a lone root, a barley speck, and something that might be squirrel. You eat it anyway. It's fuel. Dinner serves the nobles, and you linger nearby, a mute prop in their revelry. Your feet are soaked, your spine rigid, your voice reduced to, yes, cook. Sorry, cook. Won't happen again, cook. Whether you know the crime or not. Night falls. More dishes, more scrubbing. Bones cling to pans like ancient mortar, your trembling hands barely scraping them free. Dismissed with a grunt, you crawl to your sack by the hearth, its embers a faint whisper of warmth. Your tunic's damp, reeking of smoke, onions, and bone-deep weariness. Beside you, one girl sleeps, another weeps softly. You don't ask. You don't care to know. You lie there half awake, mind drifting to what came before. This wasn't a choice. No one picks this life. You were born to it, heir to a legacy of toil. Your mother's back broke in the dairy. Your aunt's fever came from the river laundry. Now it's your turn, a ladle of suffering passed down through generations. There's no climb out. You won't become cook, wed the steward, or stitch lace by candlelight. That's a fairy tale. You'll age, your hands will worsen, and one day you'll be too slow, replaced by someone fresher, cheaper, less likely to collapse mid-scrub. So you cling to the small things, the kitchen's pulse, the fleeting alliances among servants, the unspoken codes of survival. Never cross the cook. Share the driest bread with the bleeding girl. Dodge the steward. Move fast if noble boots thud behind you or risk being crushed, body or spirit. Gossip's your only coin. Whispers of the chamberlain betting the lady-in-waiting, or pining for the choir boy, or the red-bearded knight puking figs into his helm. Probably true. Feasts and weddings are pandemonium. Triple the guests, tenfold the work, just scrubbing and praying in a frantic haze. They revel, you blister. By night's end, you're not tired. You're a hollow shell. Winter's the cruelest. You labor through coughs and fevers, your shift patched with rags, the bucket water freezing mid-haul. You persist because stopping means losing your place, and because suffering in silence, they say, is your virtue. You had a name once, spoken by someone. Now it's girl or you there. You're no hero, no rarity, just a cog in the castle's groaning machine. Yet it turns because of you, your dawn risings, your knack for greasing squeaky hinges, your memory of which bucket's clean. You polish pans to a gleam you'll never pocket. No statues, no ballads, but vanish tomorrow and the kitchen would crumble in days. Sleep eludes you. You twitch, you ache. Your dreams half formed, fields of green, boats drifting, or nothing at all. You wake dry-mouthed, arms leaden. Another day dawns, a mirror of the last. No one sees, except maybe the rats. You're the spit boy. Congratulations or condolences, depending on how you feel about roasting alive while pondering your fate. Aged 8 to 12, small enough to duck under the hearth, seasoned enough to stifle tears at every burn. Orphaned, sold, or nudged into this opportunity by desperate kin, your throne is a wobbly stool beside the roaring kitchen fire. Your task? Turn the spit all day, slow, steady, clockwise, until someone barks otherwise. Too fast, too slow, not noble enough in your turning, they'll chide. Once they called you cheeky for blinking too much. The heat's a beast, unnatural, like you're trapped in a baking loaf. Your cheeks glow red, your hair's a damp mop, your tunic's hem singed, steeped in the ghosts of every roast it's seen. Duck once delighted you, now it's a headache's herald. Burns are your companions, blisters bloom on your hands, and the kitchen offers no mercy. Dodge better, they say. Wrap a rag around a blistered palm, grow new brows if they scorch off, faint where you won't spill the gravy. Breaks? The meat doesn't care if your arms quake or sweat stings your eyes. Nobles demand their goose spun just so, or heads roll, yours likely, if the steward's deep in his cups. Feast days stretch the spit. Giant birds, whole hogs, once a deer that took two of you to turn. Your partner, a lazy-eyed menace, dropped the crank for sport, grinning as you flailed. He's gone now, maybe to the kennels. You wish the dogs well with him. Hours meld into one hunched pose. Knees numb, back knotted, a foot once so asleep you feared it dead. The steward lobbed a turnip at you for that drama. Amid the kitchen's chaos, shouts, clangs, trays crashing, you're the still point. No thanks, no notice. Unless the roast's uneven, then you're the villain. When it's done, you wrestle the meat free, grease hissing, fat dripping, flinch and you're scolded, pause and you're struck. Then it's on to the next beast, or stew, or a cauldron reeking of despair. Time's a stranger. Your world is firelight and gnawing hunger. A tossed bone, half chewed, is lunch if luck's kind. You devour it in a corner, hunch like a feral thing, then back to the crank. By afternoon, your face is a furnace, lips cracked, hands sooty, smokes in your lungs. You hack like an old man, still turning. Laughter drifts from the hall above, clean, bright, a place you'll never tread. You exist for their ease. Feasting done, you haul back trays of scraps you can't touch. Scrape bones, rinse goblets, drag the spit to the scullery. It's heavy, your shoulder screams. A blister bursts. You ignore it. The Lord wants roast for his hounds, so you start again. They'll dine better than you, as always. Night deepens. Your tunic clings greasy and stiff. Your hands shake from hunger and fatigue. A bowl of thin pottage, grain, limp turnips, is your reward. Slurped silently in the dark. Words are too much effort. You scrub tools, knives, spit, hooks, spotless for the steward's eye, or it's privy duty tomorrow. The kitchen hushes, pots stilled, cook's voice spent. You slump by the fading fire, Too sore to lie flat, too restless to sleep. A rat scurries by. You're past caring. Before this, you were a shepherd's lad maybe, or a miller's son. Perhaps they forgot you, or hunger forced their hand. Escape's a myth. Your best hope is scars that heal and a spine that holds. Assistant cook by 20, if you last. Winter's brutal. The draft slices through, one side roasting, the other iced, a human skewer. No shoes, just rags on your feet, knees popping, fingers stiff as the spit itself. Health's a memory. Your cough's a fixture, skin flaking then splitting, the scent of scorched fat your eternal cloak. No apothecary for you, just lard and grit. You're beneath everyone. Maids, butchers, even the egg boy. The begging dog outranks you with its scraps. A steward's nod is your week's triumph. You wonder rarely what leaving might mean. Then recall spit boys don't leave. They age into servitude or fade away. By the hearth, legs curled, arms clutching knees, you stare into the coals, dreaming of warmth without pain, a sensation you've never known. Snow falls outside, meat sizzles within, and you turn forgotten as ever. You're the gong farmer, society's unseen savior, cloaked in filth. A polite title for a grim truth. You wrangle human waste. Chamber pots, latrines, it's yours to extract. The lowest of the low, you scrape the cesspit's depths, yet it's a job that pays because no one else dares. Night's your domain, not by choice, but to spare daylight eyes and noses. Markets bar you until you've washed, though the stench clings like a second soul, turning heads and emptying streets. Your arsenal, a rake, a bucket, a shovel. Your garb, wool packed with moss, a futile shield against the reek. Down into the pit you go, ladder if you're fortunate, rope if not. The smell slams into you, a wall of sewage and despair, searing your eyes, coating your throat. Mouth breathing only trades scent for taste. Boots sink into the mire, ankle deep, knee deep, a bottomless stew of rot. Fresh waste is vile, but the aged layers, gray sludge, black crusts, bubbling masses, haunt your sleep. You dig unasking through excrement, broken pots, sodden straw, and the odd dead rat, or worse, a chicken once, inexplicably entombed. You gave it a quiet burial. Coins glint sometimes, dropped by hasty nobles. You keep them, fair wages for your descent. Each full bucket's a labor to haul up, dumped into a creaking cart that groans with every load. A dozen trips, more after feasts, all under torchlights flicker. Day folk mustn't see their shame's price. Silence reigns in the pit. Words wither there. Laden with night soil, you trudge through sleeping streets, leaving a wake of wilted air. A child's cabbage once flew your way. You returned fire, less proudly. Beyond the walls, you tip your haul near fields, fertilizer for the crops nobles eat, ignorant of their own cycle. Morning finds you rinsing tools in a tainted pond, scrubbing boots, hands, clothes. The stink stays. Neighbors shun you, meals are solitary. Bread tastes of ash. Ale's your refuge from unsafe water and sober misery. Winter freezes it all. Waist, hands, breath, shoveling through ice to steaming dread below. Summer bakes it, flies swarm. Sweat drowns you, the stench a living cloud. Vinegar, herbs, mint, none of it helps. You've tried them all, steeped in buckets, stuffed into rags, even chewed sprigs between your teeth like talismans against the reek. Still, the rot prevails, sweet and terrible, blooming like some cruel parody of perfume. A floral fog clings to your skin, your hair, your breath. You hear the whispers, smells like a gong farmer, as though it were some joke, some folly of a fool who stumbled into filth. But you know better. It's not ignorance that brought you here. It's skill. Craft even, if they'd ever dare call it that. You balance ladders against slick stone in the dark, one wrong step from drowning in what no one dares name. You judge the weight of the air before striking a spark, lest a methane bloom turn your torch into your pyre. You time your shifts with the rainfall, knowing a flooded pit means disaster. It's a dance with death, every night, every shaft, every shovel load. And yet the pay? Better than most of them scrubbing pewter or dressing wigs. Gold for grime, silver for stink. Enough to buy your own hut. Not grand, not even dry all the way through, but yours. You don't serve a master. That counts for something. Still, you're marked. Your family lets you in only when the wind blows kindly. Most nights, you slump on a log outside, boots crusted, hands raw, trying not to lean too close to the flames for fear of setting the smell alight. Children shout after you in the lane. Cabbage, sin! And you can't argue. You do stink like rotten outhouse. And yes, there's sin in what clings to you, even if it isn't yours. But you do it. Someone must. Let them laugh while their night soil vanishes and their clean water runs clear. The cart's empty. The shovel rests. You stretch your back, listen to the creak of your bones. No praise, no thanks, just the moon and the scent and the work, waiting again tomorrow. Eyes shut, the smell lingers, dreams too. Hands cracked, nails black. You've abandoned soap for pride's sake. Flowers, grass, lost scents. Rots your world now. Apples would seem spoiled. Guards jest, don't fall in, and laugh. Once one pushed you near the edge. No smile then. Dreams of baking or scribing fade. Your hands reek of yesterday. You rinse, adjust your tunic, and return to the pit. Someone must. Dawn grays the sky, roosters crow, your last bucket's hauled. The castle wakes, oblivious, nobles easing into gilded bowls. You fade into shadow, a stinking specter, gong farmer, kingdom's cleanser, known only to flies. Your shoes squeak, stiff leather, a mark above most servants. You're the chamberlain's apprentice, bearer of ledgers, master of lists, feigning grasp of protocol, not noble but privileged, entering rooms others merely scrub, glimpsing secrets peasants can't fathom. You fetch parchment, tally numbers, soothe the countess's goat-scented linen tantrums. Dawn breaks in the servants' hall by a decent fire, not for rats or waste. You splash water, comb with fingers, brush your tunic. Appearance counts. Candles first, always. You pace the dim corridors at dawn, fingers curled around a stub of tallow, swapping out what's burned low, what's guttered to waxy puddles. The finer beeswax tapers, sweet-scented and slow-burning, are reserved, of course, for holier spaces. Chapel altars, the Lord's Hall, places where light must be both function and symbol. You take mental notes as you move, salt jars scraping empty, wine jugs untouched, a sure sign of absence or temperance, neither of which lasts. Chamber pots full to the brim. Mercifully, not your duty today. Every detail tells a story, every omission a warning. The chamberlain appears as if conjured by disapproval, eyes like sharpened flint, nose forever crinkled as though everything and everyone beneath him stinks of sour linens. He smells of lavender oil, applied liberally to disguise insomnia and stress. His words come fast and clipped. Wool's late from the spinner, oil's down to sludge, and the friar won't eat onions or meat on Thursdays, regardless of feast days. You nod, scribble, nod again. Your quill scratches furiously, but in the back of your mind, all you can hear is the memory of last month's spill. Ink blotting 2 weeks of accounts. Your punishment, the recopying of ledgers by candlelight under the hovering breath of the steward. Fishy with salted herring and vague contempt. Your title is clerk, but your duties stretch far beyond ink and parchment. You're courier when a message must cross rain-slicked fields before dusk. You're whipping boy when linen deliveries go astray, or someone's bed is damp from rain, or worse, when the floor creaks wrong or the hound leaves its mess in the stairwell. You're summoned, not to clean, but to answer. You who sleep beside records and sacks of grain, who know the names of every serving girl and the frequency of every nobleman's bath. The castle runs on meat, blood, and coin, but also on you, unseen, indispensable, and always, always one ink spill away from disaster. Inspections follow, you trail him, a mute scribe as he probes walls, sips wine, sniffs rushes, yawn once and it's pea-sorting penance. Lunch is chaos, who sits where, avoiding pigeon pie feuds. You juggle charts, titles, the Cressida Aldrich Rift. Accounts next, wax, fish, salt, endless barley. You read, he quizzes, and eyebrows lift worse than a blow. Visitors, nobles, knights, cousins, arrive with demands. You note linens, bracing for blame. Keys jingle at your belt. Armory, cellar, wardrobe. Lost ones mean ruin. Afternoons, logistics. Late herring, vanished velvet, a drunk priest, hay shortages. You draft replies, even love notes for a lady's strawberry-fed dog, delivered to a blushing knight. Evening's candles again. Relighting, trimming, a quiet limbo between noble revels and servant sighs. Guest rooms checked, no deaths, spills, or elopements. Feet throbbing, head pounding, fingers wax-stained. You wait for dismissal, sometimes forgotten, dozing outside his door as he drones to a page. Dismissed at last, you bow, retreat to a narrow bunk, fire out, blanket stolen. You lie half-dressed, pondering power's scent, tallow, ink, lavender. You'd hoped for intrigue, got hemorrhoids and pastry thefts instead. Power's just rules to break you. Discipline, he calls it. Exhaustion, you know it. Invisible yet vital, you're fluent in silence. Promotion whispers, steward's aid, cellar books. More likely a slow fade, eyes dimming over ledgers. Yet you rise. Chaos needs stitching, salt needs counting, sleep's barrels and bells, dawn's squeaky shoes. Servants eye you warily. Too clean, too wordy. Nobles forget you mid-task. You're the gap, duty rushing up as power trickles down. Still, you show up. The castle stands on it. The stable never sleeps. Horses snort steam. Hooves tap straw before dawn. You're the stable boy, shoveler, brusher, hauler, kicked more than thanked, apologizing to beasts finer fed than you. Your loft bed creaks above, alive with equine rustles, tails, stomps, droppings near your head. Hands cracked, you climb down into cold that slaps like judgment. Mucking stalls fast but calm. Spooked horses bite harder than nobles. 2 fingers broken, ribs bruised bloody, yet you love them. Honest, unjudging souls. The stable's aroma, hay, dung, sweat, horse, beats castle stench. You know a stallion's health by its whiff, a mood by its breath. Feeds heavy, oats, hay bales. You haul without twisting your spine again. Last time earned a bridle to the skull. Feeding's a dance. Greedy jaws, shy muzzles, teeth that scar. You whisper pat, soothe. They trust you, not the lords. Grooming's next. Brushing, currying, dung scooping. Tack gleaming for the master's eye, not the rider's. Nobles' hounds invade, twitchy, loud. You clean their mess too, thankless. The lord's last-minute ride turns all to frenzy, saddling his touchy gelding, straps triple-checked, stirrups short for vanity. You fade aside as he mounts. Fidget, slip, or fall, it's your fault. Water, hay, sweeping. Your shoulders burn, muscles bleed. Brakes are ale-sipping stares at dust, jaw tight, body protesting. Winter numbs fingers, troughs ice over. Summer blisters you through. Evening's flies buzz curses as you clean. Nervous mares signaling storms you feel in your bones. The master grunts or yells. You measure days by his temper, Carrots sneak to gentle mares, nuzzle back, your only tenderness. Night's loft reeks of mildew, boots off. You lie listening to horse breaths, wind, hoof beats in dreams. They call you boy at 17, back creaking. Nobles wrinkle noses, but some nod. A knight's coin gleams unspent, proof you're seen. No rise awaits, no sword from a brush. You know beast, not glory, quietly vital. Boys break or vanish. You stay head low. Stables leak, hay rots, breath ices. But horses trust you. That's enough, most days. Sleep comes to their soft snorts. Tomorrow they need you still. At dawn, before the chill has lifted, and before even the hearth dares to glow, you're stirred not by bird song, but by the damp slap of a paw across your lips. Snipe, a turn-spit dog, low-slung, sausage-shaped, his fur caked in old grease and ash, smelling of smoke, meat, and the long hours of yesterday's toil. He's sprawled beside you on the straw pallet, limbs twitching in sleep, a creature bred and born for a single, endless task. You're his keeper, though you sometimes wonder if he is not yours. Joined by duty, grease, and the whine of turning wood. Yours is a post between worlds, the quiet grime behind the kitchens and the resplendent feasts served beyond the carved oak doors. You're the bridge between the nobleman's table and the grind of canine labor. You rise, the cold floor biting at your soles, a misstep into something wet. You pray it's water, though hope is a fragile thing here. Snipe grumbles, bites at your hand, not with malice, but with the blunt language of reluctant obedience as you haul him from his resting place. His body is limp with sleep, yet dense with resignation. You hoist him into the wheel, the heavy wooden drum that rules his life, and with a sigh that's almost human, he begins to trudge. One paw, then the next, the slow rhythm of servitude. The hearth smokes, coughing its way into flame. The cooks shout, their tempers already seared. The roast, venison, perhaps a boar, glimmers raw on the spit, its juices waiting to sizzle. As Snipe walks, the wheel turns, and with it, the meat begins to spin. It must rotate steadily, evenly, or the flesh will char on one side and bleed on the other. You watch him, coaxing with scraps, threats, soft whispers. Too slow, and the roast is ruined. Too fast, and the meat tears free. If he stops altogether, and he sometimes does just to spite the order of things, then it all falls apart. May Day's feast will be wrecked, and for a household like this, where pride wears a powdered wig and failure is served on a silver plate, such a loss is not easily forgiven. 4 dogs rotate, 2 run, 2 twitch, none rest truly. You clean squeaky wheels, dodging ladles. The Lord nods at earthy meat, your sweat, their hair. Scraps slipped, goose fat, gravy crusts, wrist bites, burns scar your arms. The kitchen's a furnace. Smoke blackens your nose, reddens your eyes. Dogs aren't pets. Bred for grind, they'd mutiny without bread. You've named them. Snipe, Button, Maury's, Mean Guts. Learning through blood and sticks. A child's spinning puppy earns glares. You stay mute. Hunched from years of stooping, you dream of falconry, lost to paw drums. Alone, Maury's curls close, a rare stillness before the bell restarts it all. No thanks for you or them. Night's sand-scrubbed sleep hears panting dogs, sizzling fat, running dreams, turning wheels. Nobles praise rustic kitchens, ignorant of you, quaint to them. Patience grows, no blood, no fuss, just spinning survival. A pouch holds cheese, a flour button guts his tooth. Proof even he breaks. A nuzzle after a run sees you, enough in this relentless fire. Darkness and cold greet you. The laundress, bound to water, soap, fire, pain. Stiff from yesterday, you don damp wool, apron salt-crusted, and haul laundry. Noble stains a silent threat. Buckets groan from the well, yoke biting to the copper pot. Fire fights the chill, lie clouds the steam, burns linger from last slip. Sorting's reverence, wool spared, linen soaked, scrubbed on stone till knuckles whiten. Rinse numbs, the water cuts colder than the wind, even under a reluctant sun. You beat the sheets in the stream with aching arms, the fabric heavy with filth and memory, knuckles raw and fingernails rimmed in frost. Around you, the other washerwomen work in silence, not from disdain but from exhaustion, each breath drawn like thread through a needle's eye. There is no chatter here, only the rhythmic slap of linen against stone and the groan of backs bent for too long. When the washing is done, it must be dried, on ropes strung between posts if the air is kind, or near the hearth when storms gnash against the thatch. But fire is a gambler. It warms, yes, but burns when you blink. One ember too close, and a month's labor blackens in seconds. Still, there's pride in a veil hung spotless in white, even if it once draped the head of someone who never spoke your name. And there's dread, too, in the torn hem, in the stubborn stain that will not lift, in the fray that tells someone you failed. You haul, you scrub, you wring. Time becomes a tide that drags you under and forgets to spit you back out. Your body rebels, fingers split, shoulders ache, knees stiffen, but still you move. Deliveries are made without ceremony. You leave the folded linens on benches or thresholds. In return, you get a grunt, a nod, sometimes not even that. Names are rarely spoken. It's safer that way. Less to lose, less to linger. Sometimes when you need a reason to slow, you let a sheet slip back into your basket. Claim it needed one more rinse. It's your secret, that small defiance. A gift of time, stolen from the churn of duties. At day's end, you rest by the fading fire, the warmth biting softer than the stream. Your hands are chipped, blistered, but they still move. You clutch a linen scrap in your lap, too small to matter to them, just large enough to mean something to you. A relic of labor, a quiet flag of persistence. The spear's butt jolts you awake, coals dim, fog thick. You're the guard, not sung, just first to fall. Knees ache, bruises throb, watch gate, wall, walk hourly, stay alert. Wind cuts, cloak fails, breath curls. Every stone's known, hinges checked, jams are yours to own. Alone at night, jumpy for cause, a bird, not bandits. Dried meat's your meal, nobles sneer, you chew on. Winter taught bootwool tricks, midnight rounds scan misty woods, home of faint memory. Captain grunts, still breathing? Praise is absence. Day guards take over, your cot's rough refuge. Bandits once came, you held, killed, earned bread and trust. Pride silent, safety's yours to keep. Sleep spares you briefly, duty calls again. Night's yours, watchwoman, no armor, just lantern and keys. Soft shoes glide, halls chill, nursery, tapestries, library. Locks hold, candles die. A window's open, ghost maybe, you mend cloaks unseen. Broth sustains, secrets pile, stolen candles, quiet trades. Walls live with history, you're their thread. Stars watch back, someone must, and it's you.